Hello everyone. Today I want to show you a real easy way to improve your drawing skills and make it look a little more realistic. This is an easy way to help you out. You might like it, you might not like it. I tend not to use a grid when I draw, I don't necessarily care for it, but this is a really good way to get some accuracy. All right, first thing you need to do is print out the picture that you want to draw. Now you have to have a ruler, and you want to, see where you're gonna crop it to. And what I would say is get it to an even number. That's going to be easier for you. You can just crop your paper down also, and you'll see what I mean by that later. But if I just go from the end of here and I say, I'm gonna crop this down to 5 inches right there from the end, and 5 inches right there. Okay, and I'm really just going to take care and look at where the cat is, not the background. Okay, so I'm gonna make a mark with my pencil like that. Now I can mark off how many squares I actually want. I'm gonna measure off every ½ inch because I do think it's gonna be a little more complicated. The more complicated it is, the more squares you're going to want. The less complicated it is, you don't need as many squares. What you're basically doing when you grid a picture is you're looking at a small section at a time rather than the entire picture at once. And it's going to help you to see things a lot easier. Okay, so I'm marking off all my ½ inch marks, and I'm going to go all the way around. I'll be right back with you. All right, now I'm going to go with a nice straight edge, and I'm using a colored pencil for this because I've got a black and white picture. So you can use a pen or whatever, but just make sure your lines are straight with the ruler. You are going to just make boxes. So I'm going to go across all of these very carefully, and then I am going to go down like this, and I'm creating my boxes. So I'll do this and I'll get right back to you. All right, I have my lines drawn on the top of that. Now, I am going to crop it down a little bit more, and I kind of think I'm going to go about right there. So I'm starting with the number 1 on this block. So I'm going across the top and I'm going to label the blocks. So this is block 1, and then this is 1 here. So 1, 1. And then I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I have 7 going across the top. And whatever row this is the same row down here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You cannot have a different number there. This is row 1, 2, 3 going down. 1 across, so this is 1 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I will be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. These are absolutely nothing. Here we go. And that's my paper. So I do have to have a paper that's going to fit these blocks on it. Okay, so now I have to have a piece of paper that will fit this. So if I said each square is worth 1 inch, my paper that I would have to use would be a 7 by 8 piece of paper. So 7 inches by 8 inches. And then I would have a little piece that was 7 by 8 inches. You can make the squares any size that you want. So what I did was for one of the grids that I just did, just to kind of check this out on this paper that I was using, is I made the width of the ruler, which was super, super easy to do. Now, if I did the width of the ruler with this drawing though, I could get the 7 going across, but I would not get the 8 going down. So that wouldn't be the correct size. But I can use this just by making each square be worth 1 inch. Because if I just put a mark at the top and at the bottom and the sides, this paper right here is an 8 by 11.5. So I'm going to try it with this, and I'm just going to go very lightly. You have to be very light with your pencil marks. And I am going to go across 8 inches. And if I start right at that line, I have to just make sure that I measure out at every 1 inch. I'm just going to put a tiny mark, and I'm going to do the top and the bottom and the sides. And then I'm going to rule my grid very, very lightly, because you don't want to see the grid when you're done. So I'll do that, and I'll get right back with you. Okay, now I've got the 3 sides done, and I'm using this little perforation right here for like where I'm marking from. So I just marked out 1 inch on that side, and you want to make sure when you're using rulers that you slide your ruler down like this rather than turning your ruler around and doing the marks, just because if you're a little bit off, this is going to be better for you to just keep that. Some rulers have a little edge on them that, you know, it's not the greatest. You want your blocks to be total squares. So you could do, like I said, you could do your squares any size that you want to. You just want to make sure you actually have squares. All right, so now I'm going to do my lines super light. I'll do them a little heavier for the camera's sake. So you want to have these very, very lightly drawn. Super light, measure up, line up your ruler with those 2 marks on each side. And I will finish this up, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, now you can see I gridded my whole paper. And just remember, your lines need to be very light. This is only for you. You want these gone when you're completely done. It's kind of like your secret. So let's get started with showing ourselves where we need the cat to go. So we have 7 blocks going across, and I have 1, 2, actually this is not a whole one, so I had to count the whole ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I do not need 11. I need 8 blocks going down. So I can pick any of these 8 blocks. And I need 7 blocks going across. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I'm going to start here. And I know that I have this block is my 1, 1. I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because I have 8 down. So I'm going to use the outside block, and I'm going to mark this as 1, 1. And then I'm going to go down because I need 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, think of what you did on this. This is the same thing that you need. And then I'm going 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 7 going across here. Okay. Now I have a little bit of space. I could have actually used this little extra perforated part, but that's okay. Now this I'm going to use right on the edge because this is my block. This is 7, 1. Okay. And then I'm going to go 2. So this is going to be erased later. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And these are on the outside, which is kind of nice. And then these will be on the outside. So remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. This is going to be our color or our space. This is actually what we're using this whole entire thing. Okay. Now we're looking at our photo. Look at your photo and look what is in those blocks. So if I have, this is my first block right here, there's going to be nothing basically in that one. My cat is over here. So let's start with 3, 1. So I'm going down to 3, 1, and I'm seeing like where I'm starting within that little space. Where do I start? If I look at just that only only that block. I'm starting about here and I'm coming down, and I kind of like to put points. You can kind of start there. All right, and then I'm down into block 2 and I'm still in row 3. I'm looking at the light point of the cat's ear in this. And then here is the end of the ear that kind of touches over to the side of there. Okay, and then I've got some sort of light area that I can just kind of draw that dark little spot. It's like a little stripe. I'm gonna draw that in there. I'll fill it a little bit. Okay, and then just keep kind of going down. You can just isolate row 3 if you wanted to. If you want to say, I'm just working on row 3, you could put pieces of paper here, and you could isolate those rows, and you could just see what was in those rows. But you'd have to you do have to follow. When you're isolating those rows, you got to follow like down the sides. So you got to be able to see like what number you're on. So anyway, I'm in 3, and I don't even want to go into 4. I'm just kind of working in 3. This little one, it's 3-3, has a lot of, oops, right here, has a lot of stripes in it. So you got to find where the stripes are within that certain square. So this is just I'll show you a quick rough drawing of it. And I'm going down into 4. And see how far, like if you even had to divide your square into like quarters or whatever, see if it comes down like halfway, or is it up a little further on that line from there to there. Okay, so I'm seeing from here to here, it's not halfway, it's up a little higher. And then I'm going to go into 2 because this is a logical line that kind of goes over here. Okay, I see like in 4-2, I see this area coming down like that, and into 5 a little bit. This is his arm. I see a little bit of the leg, I think, popping up right there. And this I should be in 6-2, and that's where I am. So, keep kind of looking back at your grid and seeing like where you should be. Here's part of the foot, and it comes all the way over here. There's a dark section of it that kind of goes in here. And this stuff you can do later. You are going to have to take out those lines, so you don't want to do too much shading. If you have dark shading, you can do your shading, because it can be, as long as it's darker than the line, you can do it. But, it depends what you're doing too. You might want to do this for a painting, and you might not want to shade at all. So you could do this right over, like a board we're painting on, whatever you wanted to do. And by the way, always trust the grid. If I know I'm in 4, 4, 4, 4, if I know that I'm there and I'm thinking, oh, this doesn't look right, this is what it is. This is your grid. It is right. So don't change something because you think that, you're doing something wrong, or you think it's different. It's not different. It will come together. So if I gave everybody, like a whole bunch of people, different squares to do, and then we put them together later, it would come out. It would be this little kitten. So trust what you see. As long as you are on the right spot. If you're on the right spot, you're good. If you go off, you got to change it, obviously. If you see something later is off, then you're going to change your grid, change your, then you'll change things, because you probably went over to some other part of it and you were in the wrong spot. It does happen. So just be careful, make sure you kind of check once in a while that you're in the right spot of the grid and you're on the right thing. Like if I kind of know that I'm on 4-4, and I'm going way underneath it, which I'm seeing the little chin like underneath here. But if I'm going really far underneath it, then, you know, I'm going to have to do something different. I'm going to have to erase it, and I'm going to have to go back and do something different.
Hey, Cheeto, you like this little baby kitty? That's you, honey. Look at it. That's you, little baby kitty. Yes.
To practice for accuracy. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And if you need it, you got it. And you can make your own, or you can get transparency to go over. But it's very simple. It's just actually translating what is in each little box, and each little block, and you'll get that image that you want with pretty good accuracy. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning and watching about drawing with a grid, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.